Hi, hello everybody. Welcome to Resolve the Unresolved Forum of Panacea eBiz. I'm sure all of you might be taking good care of yourself in this time of pandemic and also trying to reinvent not only yourself, your businesses, your business propositions, and also as entrepreneurs, maybe trying to work out new models to reach out to customers. At the onset, let me just talk about the topic today. We are going to talk about sustaining growth by engaging right people. And this is very, very crucial for any organization and every organization, irrespective of the size they have or the type of customers they're operating with. And these have been, I won't say key issues, but a highly unsolved area where people try to dabble with engaging people in the existing business, trying to make them more effective, and spends a lot of time in trying to groom them, get the maximum out of it, and involve them in business. I'll keep it to that much as we go ahead with this webinar. I'm sure we'll be discussing much more. Let me introduce my co-panelists with me today, Mr. Ravinder Goel and Mr. Rajiv Banerjee. Mr. Ravinder Goel is a founder of Panacea eBiz. And today I'd like to introduce him on this particular platform since we're talking about sustaining growth by engaging right people in a slightly different manner. Mr. Goel has been a successful entrepreneur himself. And as we have been discussing about new opportunities, right now, jumping the gun, I'm sharing with you all, he is spearheading 3 technology initiatives, new initiatives, right, Mr. Goel? He's not only investing in it, he's trying to work out, he's trying to engage fresh manpower, and he's involving a lot of time with people in trying to create a direction for these new propositions as the market opens up post-COVID and as it is slowly moving in. He has a rich exposure of grooming and training for the last 25 years, have been an integral part of the skill training industry, scaling into different sectors. Also within the business community, the MSME segment. Guest speaker today is Mr. Rajiv Banerjee. Mr. Banerjee comes with an experience of more than 25 years and has worked with various MNCs like the Deutsche Post Bank, Carrier Air Conditioning, Indorama Synthetics, Home Shop 18, to name a few, and have involved himself intricately with the financial and customer service applications. Mr. Banerjee is a postgraduate management from Bridge School of Management. He is a certified management accountant. Beyond that, he has also done his certification in predictive business analytics from US and has recently completed his design thinking certifications too. He's a founder of RRPSS Business Consulting, and he has been involved in providing business support, business modeling support, business design suggestions and initiatives, specifically with the MSME segments, along with large corporates. To start off with, I would invite Mr. Goel to say a few words. Mr. Goel, please.
Thank you, Sandeep. Hello, entrepreneurs. I welcome you all in our 5th webinar on behalf of Panacea eBiz Consulting Group Forum Resolve the Unsolved. We have been we started this activity with the perception in mind that I'm myself an entrepreneur, we have a lot of issues which we perceive that yes, it is there, but we don't address them. So in a way, we are taking feedbacks and we are bringing up issues and trying to resolve them through the help of the experts in the specific fields. So if I look at today's topic, foremost episode I remember is from Mahabharata, when Duryodhana and Arjun were asked to choose between army of Lord Krishna and Lord Krishna himself, that too without any armor. Duryodhana opted for Lord Krishna's army and Arjuna opted for Lord Krishna himself. Rest is history. The Lord Krishna, I mean Arjuna, did not go with the army. So choosing the right person or opting for taking a right decision at the crucial time, that's what we need to talk about. And this is what we are doing in this seminar, this webinar, what we are holding it today. We can have several such examples wherein right selection of partner, uh, life partner, political partners, startup teams, and what's not, made people achieve their fullest. We have examples of political system in India where some of the people have joined hands in such a good way, and they are now non-replaceable across the globe. We look at these things, so it is more or less same across. When you have right kind of people associated with you, so then your potential is achieved to its fullest. I would like to share two examples. First one is Infosys. Infosys was conceived in 1981 in Pune by Narayan Murthy, Nanden Nilekani, N.S. Raghavan, S. Gopalakrishnan, S.D. Shibulal, K. Dinesh, and Ashok Arora, all former employees of Patni Computer Systems. And you see, it was a team. Infosys started with the funding of 10,000 rupees, and as far as I remember, I think it was been borrowed from Narayan Murthy's wife. The loan was from his wife. 10,000 became millions of billions of dollar business. So when you have right kind of people associated as a team, so the entire gamut gets changed. Second example we can talk about of Flipkart. It was founded in October 2007 by two people, Sachin Bansal and Binny Bansal, who were both alumni of IIT Delhi and worked with Amazon. Now look at two boys together made a history. Now I don't see that any company probably will achieve what Infosys or what Flipkart has achieved during these last 20 years. Or if there is a team, they may probably do wonders, maybe better than them. Who knows about it? If you look at both the companies, though there are many others, not only created wealth for its promoters and shareholders, but also brought fame to our country, India. It's more like working in unison. Sustaining growth is somehow similar to managing a multiple horse chariot. If every one of the horse is pulling the carriage towards one direction, the vehicle will run faster and will easily be manageable. But just imagine each one of the horse is running at their own speed and direction. There will be nothing other than a disaster and a pile of wreckage. So that's what is happening in Indian ecosystem when we talk about businesses are not happening, or businesses are going down, economy is going down. You see, when things are not happening, people do create different visions, they do create different thoughts, they try to blame each other that this has not happened because of you, you did something wrong. The unity goes away. The moment you are down, your unity goes away. Whereas when you are in pain, the first foremost thing should happen is that you become more united. Mistakes are committed, yes. Some decisions must have gone wrong. That's also correct. But if we have created wonders in past, so I feel that wonders should be put up on the table first rather than the decisions which went wrong. So my dear friends, as an entrepreneur, my humble advice is that being you the driver, spend quality time in first hiring right kind of people and then keeping them aligned and engaged. They bring the growth, the profit, they create the brand. Like I created a brand in vocational skilling and it lasted for 27 years. And When I started, it was just 4 PCXT88, rather I think 286, PCXT 80286. And the vendor said that you carry these machines like you are carrying a pregnant woman in the car. So from there, I had a chance to bring this company in top 5 companies in India. That was a very good experience, but ultimately it was the team, people. They deal with the customers, let you redefine your schedule a bit more towards looking after them. Most of the time, entrepreneurs, they take care of the profits. But people actually who are bringing the profit, they are being ignored. So my request, humble request is that your schedule should have people on your top agenda, and you actually should play a major role of your business activity should be HR, managing people, because they are managing your business. The world is going through such a bad economic era due to COVID pandemic. Almost everyone around is somehow speculative about revival of their businesses. In such times, you being an entrepreneur, sit with your core team, build up the confidence, and plan out strategies to recover as fast as possible. Let everyone be aligned to the same goal. Let the disputes be over now. I welcome Rajiv, carrying decades of experience with us, for sharing his thoughts and substantial actions that we take, and request Sandeep now to take this further. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandeep ji, and thank you, Ravinder ji, for inviting me for this particular session. And good afternoon to all. Today, I'm going to share my views on this particular fantastic topic, and this is so close to my heart: sustained growth by engaging right people. Now here, I would like to, touch base on 3 points, very specific. First, I'll like to talk on the people front, as Ravinder ji has already shared much insights on that particular front. But I would like to get my views over there. Second, I will talk about some markets, because market today are very different from what we have seen. And third is, how to really make the operational control. So the first point, what I would like to touch base on the people. Now, when we talk about in a business scenario, people, there are 3 major stakeholders. First is, of course, the promoter, the owner of the business. Second is the employee. And third is the customer. And when we look at the today's context, if we can just have a cluster approach, make the whole 3 stakeholders together and make a cluster, and that will make the whole difference. Because at the end of the day, the purpose of any business is to create value. And the whole outlook of any business is to make this world a better place to live. And that can happen only when we have a magical growth. Now, this magical growth happens, okay, when we are able to understand and deliver each one's need and desires. And because they are all independent, they are not independent, they are all dependent. As Goel Saab has just mentioned, that a chariot cannot move unless and all the horses are in the same direction. Of course, I mean, if all the 3 stakeholders, key stakeholders, are moving the same direction, the benefit is going to definitely come to our kitty. Second point is the market, consumer, and competitiveness. The coronavirus has given a lot of challenges, and we are all aware of it, that every business is somewhere getting impacted, either in the high side, on the low side, or whatever. The impacts are very, very relevant. Now here, the important point, what we have to understand, is the product and the business model, the way we deliver, has to be understood properly, has to be evaluated properly, and then that is going to make a lot of way forward. Now, one important thing which has happened, and that is, the past have very little relevance to us. Whatever we have done, whatever way we have done our businesses, okay, if you carry on with the same thing, probably you will not be unleashing the best possible outcome. And that's why the whole crisis have to be handled with a different outlook, with a different perspective altogether. The third point, which I firmly believe, is that today's world has to be driven by data. The data has to give insights for decision making and desired growth. And growth can come only when you make impactful action with a great speed. So with this particular context in place, I would like to narrate a story in front of you so that we can really understand this whole thing in a much contextual way rather than an theoretical way. So this particular story will I would like to narrate is a business story of a premium restaurant. Okay, as we all know that one of the biggest hit in this whole pandemic is the restaurant business, and especially if I'm talking about an premium restaurant, it has been really impacted. I mean, they are not being able to operate at all. So this story is a story of a clarity, competency, and innovation culture. Okay, which shared one common goal, and to survive. And the goal was only one: to survive and to sustain growth. So this is the whole theme of this particular story. And with that, I would like to narrate the whole problem statement. The problem statement was that this business was established 45 years back, and today the second generation who is running the business, okay, are holding the leadership team. Second, the current owner, okay, they have studied management from UK and joined father's business, food business, 15 years back. And when the pandemic hit, the first thing the owner did is to really engage group of consultants, so that he can clarity that what kind of actions we can take it to really sustain this business. So the first thing the consultant did is to really ask two questions. First, what is your pain point, and what is your aspiration? No, that is the mandatory for them to design the solution. So they will like to understand the promoter's heart and soul, and based on that, if they can design something, that is what is going to make the whole success. So the owner very clearly said that I have got two problems. One is that I don't have any revenue today. So all my chain of restaurants, all my shops are completely closed, and I don't have a single revenue coming from that. Second problem is that I am having 522 employees, and the whole monthly bill or the wage bill for this 522 people is 1.8 crores a month. Now tell me, how can I sustain this particular 1.8 crore cost? So these are the two pain points very clearly articulated. And when it was asked that what is your aspiration? So aspiration wise, it was very clearly articulated that I want to build business around food, because from the childhood, I have only seen food. I don't understand any other business or any other thing. I want to build something around food. Second is that this 522 people who are part of my workforce, okay, they are my part of my family, and I want everybody to work. I want work for all of them at this point of time. So these are the two problem statements very clearly articulated. And because I have seen in my life that how difficult it is to really articulate the problem statement. Now coming to the solution, it was very well done over there. That they said that okay, the consultants build a core team, okay, and they wanted that a process by which the flow of ideas and brainstorming can happen, and with that particular flow of ideas, there has to be a deep analysis to be done. So that's the solution what they designed, and they wanted that in the first go, okay, let's involve whole 522 people. Okay, let's have video conferencing with, and to really update them what's happening, what's the thought process, and not only that 522, they requested that each of every person family should be involved in this particular idea generation and the inputs for them. And not only that, they requested, please go out to your friends and get your inputs, ideas, and options, and the whole set of people should really have a completely and consolidated way of looking at what is the desire of the customer, what is that today's customer after pandemic needs. Okay, and of course the whole problem was that the in and around food, because the promoter and everybody who are working, they are only involved in food. So they said that we want to really think in and around the food. So what happened is inputs were analyzed, and the point of view of each and every input was was checked from a feasibility point of view and the viability point of view. Then come the next step, which is basically to really understand the solution communication. Because once you have got the ideas and you process the ideas, okay, the important challenge for every organization is to really how to communicate, how to get the buy-in, because unless and until every stakeholder of organizations are having a buy-in, it is very, very difficult to have a seamless implementation. So the team, the core team, they sat together and they say that we have designed, or we have got an idea of 5 business units, and how we have done it, that we have identified each and every person's talent. Okay, what are the training needs, and what kind of collaborations we have to do from the external world, and so that we can build an effective team which can really make a sustainable business model. The first suggestion what this particular team gave is to make a video team. Now, if you recall, okay, if you open Facebook or anything, YouTube, you will see somebody is teaching you cooking. So they say that this is an fashion today. Let's have a very professional way of making videos, because you have been cooking for 45 years, so you know your best how to cook. So let's make a videos of those cooking thing and make it available in the social media. So 70 people were engaged out of that particular thing. The team of cooks, the anchors, the cameramen, the production, the marketing, the directors, the whole lot of people, 70 people who were required to make these video teams, where then some of the talents were there inside. Some they have trained and plan to train, and some they collaborated with outside world. That's the first business unit. What they came out is to really make a video team. The second thing what they said is that once the people see the food, obviously they feel hungry and they would like to order the food. So the second is that online delivery to home. So let's make a portal where we can deliver the food to the home of the people. And it was an easy task, but they made a whole team, because in the whole life, 45 years, they had never delivered food in the home. So they had to redesign the whole mindset and get 170 people who are cooks, purchase people, helpers, and 3 boys. So everything was collated and made the second business unit, which is basically to deliver to the home. The third thing what they came out is the manufacturing. So they say that we will now manufacture ready-to-eat food packets and masala packets. So they had a lot of know-how about this particular thing. So they quickly consulted few food specialists and said that all these food items, can it be converted into an ready-to-eat packets? Yes, I think that the whole breakthrough was an important thing for them. And then they say that, okay, we will take a huge industrial space or industrial shade in a lease. And second, we need funds for the machines and the infra. That can be arranged by selling some properties, because they had some properties. So obviously the fund can be arranged. And then by virtue of that, the third business unit was created, which gave employment to 200 people, and well-defined organizational structure was done for the manufacturing. So how the manufacturing, the whole flow was designed, and the third business unit was conceived. Fourth thing which they thought of is that, let's do an online learning institute, because let's open to all for a digital education, and let's make workshops, so that the community of food people, the food lovers, can be really brought together, and we can really make a huge community of them. And another thought process which was very, very important for us to understand, an innovation center. So they wanted a cooking innovation center, because to have a continuous process on competitiveness, you have to have an innovation culture in your organization, and that was the whole outlook which that business unit 4 was built, which was online learning institute. And the last one, the fifth one, what they came out is that, okay, now let's really look at that, can we sell as a franchisee business? Now, can we just design this whole whatever we are doing, okay, and a bigger universe of people can be attached to us, and can we help them to build a food business for them? This helped them to make 22 other left out people to really get engaged. So by virtue of this 5 business unit, all the 522 people were engaged, and that's what the whole one of the biggest outlook of the owner. Now let's understand that the implementation process. The next step was to really implement. So once the business ideas got shaped, okay, and a detailed business financial plan was being prepared, and when it was revealed that, okay, what kind of output you are getting, so the third year business plan shows a very, very fantastic numbers as compared to the current. So as compared to the current, the turnover, if I talk about, so the third year turnover was coming to 752 crores as compared to 50 crores, and 15x growth. That's what they were talking about. The second, what we talked about is the EBITDA. EBITDA projection was 176 crores, and it was coming from 11 to 176, that is 16x growth. Now this is sounding amazing, exponential, fantastic. Now I want to really give the glimpses that how this was possible and what happened actually, and that is very important for all of us to, because if we understand this concept, we can definitely go back to our businesses and replicate the same thought, the same process, the same kind of output we can really get out of this particular thought process. Now, what happened is the one question which actually revolutionized this whole thought process is the people were asked, what can we do around food now? Now, this one question which actually gave all these answers. And the answers was given that previously this particular food chain was only serving food and food to the people. And from that, they build a business model to watch, deliver, cook, learn, and earn. So these five business model which was given, so it was a completely new dimension, new disruption, new thought process which came out. And this particular phenomena has came out that because the thought process of humongous people came in. It was starting from 522 people who were the employees, and they reached out to their families, which is around 2,000 people, and 2,000 people, everybody at least talked to their friends, which is at least 10 friends. So 20,000 people were approached, and then this particular thought process has come into picture. Now, again, coming back to the 3 points, what I started with, and I would like to conclude this particular thing, that first is talked about the people engagement. Now, when this whole project was undergoing, so the people engagement, they have understood very detailed what is the competency, what kind of collaboration we need to do, because every competency is not within one person. And they tapped their networks. They understood what are networks we have and from where we can really get our collaborations done. The parameters were chosen very clearly, what kind of competencies we need, what kind of objectives and KPIs will be there for the business units, what kind of organization timing. So every organization has their own timing. So so they treated like a startup, because in the startup, you cannot pour in more people. So they timed it that what point of time, what we will start and what will not start. So there was a phasing of things. And then the strength, the number strength, they were very clear that we have to engage all 522 people. So they designed the whole business in such a way that everybody gets their job. And the important thing which happened over here is the intention. At what intention people were trying to do that? Because everybody have to have the same intention, same purpose. And that one purpose was very much clear, that we want to sustain ourselves, we want to really survive ourselves. And that was one thought process. Then the benefit matrix was very clear, be it profit for the owner, be it CTC for the employee, be it value to the customer, everything was balanced in so beautifully that the right kind of people were only there in this whole business venture. Now, second point, which is important for us to understand what happened, is the consumer desirability. They understood, because they have talked to some 20,000 people, they could understand what is the problem. They discovered the problem in much deeper sense. They understood the need of the people in a much deeper sense. And then they mapped the opportunity. And that actually opened the whole innovation possibilities by futuristic view and the needs of the customer. And when we talked about the needs of the customer, maybe we can understand this in a functional, emotional, social impact and adversity factor. So all these factors were understood, and then they could come out with the suggestion of 5 business models. The third, the most important thing, which I feel is the game changer over here, and what this whole team of consultants and the people were made to do is do data analytics. So the various inputs came. So all these inputs were coming from all across. Okay, and everything had been done with a very structured method, with the involvement of technology, and a deeper introspection was done. Assumptions were taken, and the timelines were set, and based on that, the whole difference could be made. The process of analytics, as it was adapted by this team, was the descriptive. So when all the information was coming on, so they had a very good description of what the kind of information which was coming. Now each and every input or information which was coming, that was diagnostics. They did diagnostic. They understood the deeper meaning of what is the need of the people. The third stage, what they adapted is they made the predictive models. So they wanted to really model it out in a cause and effect. So if we do this, what is the kind of rationale, what are the assumptions, and what is the probability of having a success about this particular cause and effect? They model it. And the fourth stage, what they did is that they do a prescriptive modeling. The prescriptive modeling is all about that they had a constraint in hand. They were very clear that we have to make all 522 people give jobs. So they started from that particular point, and they achieved that particular goal of employing everybody. And in the process, what they did is that the feasibility and viability of each business unit was done, and which gave humongous confidence of success. The next thing which actually data analytics has given him that...
if I can interrupt over here.
Yeah.
And to stay with what you have been sharing, have been quite interesting.
Just one sec. I will just summarize, and that's, you can stop.
Okay.
So the last point, what I was saying, the data analysis, the collaboration and the growth mindset gave the whole, fulfillment of the purpose of this particular team. And to summarize the whole thing, okay, the story is all about the mindset, skill set, and action set. The critical thinking, what was done by the whole team. Okay, the creative thinking, what was done by the whole team. The effective communications, the insightful decision making, actually made this whole growth model possible. Thank you, Sandeep. Over to you.
Right. What I wanted to just focus on, you emphasized on very, very important points. So I thought if we can just stay and get back to like people engagement and understanding the competencies were one of the parameters which you pointed out.
Yes.
Why do you feel that it is so integrate? And the example which you shared is mind-boggling. So if I'm talking about this opportunity giving me 50x of a business.
15x.
Sorry.
50 crores to 750 crores.
750 crores. So if that is a potential, so why do you again feel it's very, very critical that people's capability and the engagement is important? Because you must have had similar experiences with organizations.
So it is all about competency. So for example, I mean, if I talk about, we have in economy various kind of jobs. Okay, so if you look at any organization, okay, so any organization, if you see typical organization, okay, they have got broadly 7 functions. Now, to name it, 7 functions. Okay, people have a marketing department, they have sales department, they have operations or the manufacturing or operations department, they have finance department, they have HR department, they have R&D department, and there is a management. So these are the typical same 7 teams. Every 7 teams has a different kind of competency, because they all have to achieve a certain KRA KPIs. Now, if the KRA and KPIs, which can be accomplished, then only the organization can sustain and grow. Because the competencies what a marketing guy will have, it is completely different from a finance guy. The finance guy's outlook is completely different. So you cannot put in the marketing guy to a finance function and a finance guy to a marketing person. So that's why the kind of competencies. So for example, in this example, if you see, okay, set up this whole video making business unit. So in the existing, they used to serve food. They didn't know how to make videos. They know how to cook the food. So maybe the cook was cooking the food, but he is not conscious of camera. So he was trained. So the whole collaboration was done to make that particular business unit run. So important is to really understand the competencies play a greater role in our success.
Right. Very true. And I'm sure, Mr. Goel, just to bring you and get your thoughts also into it, as Rajiv was sharing his experiences, I'm very sure when you have been running and managing your experiences, listening to him, there will be one or two instances which where you must have experienced similar scenarios. Would you like to share any examples?
Generally, like when we started way back in 97, so it was a single infrastructure, single training setup. And then we started opening up franchise centers across. Now, what used to happen is like the people who were working in a center as a center manager, now they had the core competencies of how to run the center and make the center profitable. But opening up a center and making it successful was something else. The center was established and they could come and they can enroll more students, they can train better, they can take care of the quality. But setting up a center was a very difficult and challenging task. So what we did, we created a team of, we named the team Franchise Launchpad. We
Okay.
created a team of 5 people. One of them was playing a role of a HR. Another was playing a role of a technical faculty. Two of them were basically from the marketing side. One was having experience of the inside of the center, like what to come where. So the franchisee launchpad team used to be there at the center 10 days back, and until then they used to be with the franchisee on telephone, and probably on the continual support used to be there. So at the time of inauguration, we used to ensure that the franchisee has booked enough number of students to start his one or two or three batches in the beginning itself.
Okay.
But that franchisee launch pad team, what we initialized, so they have gone, they've been trained on different subjects. Probably a good amount of training was done. So definitely people can be trained, and if they know the subject, things can be happen. But part is that in Indian mindset, the recruitment happens in pressure always.
Yes,
We do
yes.
not plan our recruitments, and that's how recruiting a right person remains a difficult task across. Now today, like our another portal which we are running in the name of e-recruit, there we are talking to various recruiters across India. Now they look for today if they are posting, they want resumes tomorrow because they have a pressure of recruiting the team at the earliest. So there is no planning. So we mostly in India, the 90% of the job entrepreneurs or the entire team is doing is they're managing the crisis.
Yes,
So
yes.
Absolutely.
that's what I can share as of now. Probably yes.
No, that's so true. People absolutely give most of the time very little thought when it comes to recruitment. And as you rightly pointed out, I'm sure Rajiv will have certainly examples to this. They have a job description. They know there's a 15, 20 years experience I want, X, Y, Z qualification. But qualification and experience may not be relevant to the culture and the core operation of my organization. Now, how do I evaluate? Second is, once I evaluate, I get the person in, how do I engage the person? And the example, Rajiv, you shared was so exciting. I'm very sure the team must have done some solid groundwork to get actually ideas out of the employees in the 5 business proposition which which
No,
you shared.
I think that is the key, because the kind of bondage, okay, this 500 people, 22 people shared with the organization, it was amazing. And that's why not only that 522 people, but all their households. So 522 people have 2,000 people who were households, the families of the people. They got involved, and then not only each 2,000 people involved, every person has 10 friends. So they spoke to their 10 friends, because in the lockdown, you are only watching or talking to people, your friends. So it was easy because they were concerned, because they were saying this is do and die. I mean, if I don't do, then the people were losing jobs. And that point of time, if I can really help my organization to get an strategy in place, I think I will be surviving not only, but I will be surviving the whole family of mine. And
So,
and the whole thing, what actually played the magic is that whole relationship. The kind of culture what that particular 45 years was built by this organization actually got paid off now.
So it's an integral engagement of the management with the entire team,
Absolutely,
which has been
absolutely.
very, very crucial.
So I started my talk with a thing that there are three stakeholders. One is the promoter, the owner.
Promoter.
Second is the employee and the customer. And now in this example, you can see the three are absolutely in a one cluster, because these 20,000 people are nothing but the customers. They are the sampling size of a customer. And when they become part of your innovation stream, you are got to successful. I mean, there is nothing can stop it.
Very much. Now, Rajiv, one more thing. I was just tempted to ask you if people who are listening to us today, if there are three critical things which you want them to keep in mind and start working, which will help them to focus on engaging the right kind of people, what would be the three things which they should go back with?
I think I have already talked in this,
Yes, if we
but
can.
I'll again repeat it. I think the first is the clarity. The biggest thing what I see in the businesses today, people are not clear. What will work, what will not work. Okay, why should I work for this? And that why and hows has to come from the purpose statement. Because unless and until your purpose statement is very clear,
Very
okay,
true.
you will not be taking the right kind of steps or decision to really build your organization. That's the number one point. Okay, so based on the clarity of what you want to do and what, for example, in this case, the promoter was absolutely clear that he wants to do anything and everything in the food only. And from a serving of food, he went to the watch, cook, earn and learn everything to do with the food only. That's the
Absolutely.
first point of clarity. Second is the competency, because the kind of competencies you need from serving a food to watching a food is something entirely different. Okay, manufacturing a food is entirely different. Okay, learning, education is entirely different, and you are especially from the education background, you will understand much better. So the competencies are very clearly has to be understood, and appropriate match be done based on the clarity of your thought. The third point is the culture. So when you are looking that I am not going to look at a million customer, I am not looking at at 100 or 200 or 500 customer, but a million or billion customer. That is where the whole culture has to bring in, because you are having an unlimited potential. As a human being, you are having an unlimited potential. When you unleash your complete potential, and when you see that I want to make this world a much better place, that is where you will grow your business leaps and bounds.
Great. It has been quite exciting. Mr. Goyal, any points, anything which you want to add at this stage?
Probably I'll come with my own experience.
Yeah,
So, you see, when we used to interview people for middle management,
true.
so, I remember that I used to call and meet that person at least 4 or 5 times.
Right.
And before I used to meet, I used to probably keep him in the reception for at least 15 to 20, 30 minutes.
I see.
And before calling him in my cabin, I used to call my receptionist and used to take her feedback, how
Okay.
he behaved in the reception area. So a lot depends on the person's mindset, I'll say. His value system, how he has behaved, how he's talking, what is his attention span, and
Mhm.
whether he's like a person with a lot of anxiety,
True.
impatient behavior. Now, sometimes it happens that a person is experienced, person has competencies, but his values and his probably the culture will not fit into my company.
Absolutely.
So the hiring of a person is a very, I must say, is a very critical component. We failed miserably many times. We failed miserably. We had a wrong choice, but we had a like purpose. We have defined a rule that anybody who has not worked after joining within 3 months. So we used to have a probation period of 6 months, and within first 3 months in the middle management, and at the entry levels it was 15 days, and a bit above probably it used to be 1.5 months. Now
True.
somebody asked me that why you give 3 months to the person you are paying very high. I said he is not here to bring me the coins in my hands. He's probably been hired to bring lot of checks.
Yeah.
Probably he'll take a bit more time, and I need to understand for which, because he does not fail, the employee does not fail. The boss and the interviewer fails basically, that he has opted for a wrong person. So the value, the culture, the behavior, many things we have to see before we take in. And this part of my experience, own experience, that you must meet one person, same
Very true.
person, at least 3-4 times, so that whatever fakeness is there in his talks can come out.
Yes, 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 yes.
Very much. Very much. And as we were talking today, I was involved into getting inducted, one of a senior guy from public sector unit to an IT company last week. So we spent around roughly 3 days over the web in pure induction and transition, because he was moving from an executive director position in a public sector unit to a private company, taking charge. So the fear was typically how to integrate, because those are very, very important. And I think we touched upon very, very crucial issues which organization faces, and very true to the theme, it remains unresolved. So we would request entrepreneurs, once again, that's a not only important and exciting area, but as Rajiv rightly pointed out and Mr. Goel shared with his experiences, qualitative engagement with employees across levels are very, very important in gauging their competency and capability levels. And in fact, if they are engaged appropriately, it can give wonderful results for the organization, which Rajiv so truly shared. I think with that, we'll have come to the end of today's webinar. Thank you everybody so much. Thank you Rajiv for presenting an exciting story. Thank you Mr. Goel. Thanks everybody. And we look forward to catching with you all next week. Bye-bye. Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you, Rajiv.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.